Blog Talk Radio.
ENlightenment Evolution Network presents the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with your host, Rob Gauthier. Hey everybody, this is the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with your host, Rob Gauthier. Tonight is a beautiful and wonderful Wednesday night, and we are here every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That's 6 o'clock Pacific Time. You can always contact me by calling into the show at area code 347-308-8788. You can also go to the Enlightenment Evolution Hour like page on Facebook, the Enlightenment Evolution Network like page on Facebook, and also the Enlightenment Evolution Network group on Facebook. You can also contact me at trebchanneling@gmail.com and go to my Facebook, Rob Gauthier, on there, and you can contact anytime you want. Now, tonight we have a very, very special guest. Tonight we have the great Brad Johnson. He's a very, very dear friend of mine, a very great guy, and a very great channeler. He channels the entity known as a dronist. He channels many entities. He does conscious matrix connection. He's been on a plethora of different radio shows, television shows, and also has his own radio show coming up. And we're going to talk about all of that right after the announcements for today. Tonight we're also going to have a chance. He's going to be channeling a dronist tonight. And when he does, we are going to open up the phone lines for anyone who wants to talk to a dronist. So everyone who wants to do that, be patient. We're going to talk to Brad first, do the announcements, and then we'll get to the channeling. But if you feel like you've got a question for a dronist, please call in, area code 347-308-8788. If you don't have a U.S. phone, if you're overseas in South America, you can always sign up for a Blog Talk Radio account, and then you have the option to connect to Skype with it by going on the page you're at now. So thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. The announcements I'd like to go through. The Enlightenment Evolution Network is something that we have launched, and our very first show, besides mine, happened Monday, and that was Daniel Scranton's show. And on Daniel Scranton's show, which is called Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton, his first guest was myself, and I channeled Treb. It went really great. I apologize to you guys for the sound quality of that show. It was a little rough, but I did that at my house, and I have two separate places where I go to do the shows. Wednesday night, I'm here to better audio quality show, so that's why you're getting it a little better. But this Enlightenment Evolution Network is beautiful. We have officially launched it, and what it is our internet radio network. I'm going to introduce all the Enlightenment Evolution Network people. I'm going to be having them as guests on our show here in the near future. And this is a network for all things that are metaphysical. We have the greatest team that's ever been assembled for the Enlightenment Evolution Network and the greatest team assembled for Blog Talk Radio. This is a wonderful, wonderful network. We've got a great team assembled. And most of you guys are aware of the Enlightenment Evolution Hour, which is what you're listening to now. And this is an extension of that. It's a network that was built by myself and brought together and co-created with all these great hosts. Now, Monday evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, that's 6:30 Pacific, we have Daniel Scranton hosting Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton. On those nights, you can join Daniel Scranton as he has featured guests and discuss topics such as the shift, the ET, the global events, channeling, energy work, toning, sound healing, manifestation, all things metaphysical. Great show, great guy. Check that out every Monday. For those of you who don't know who Daniel Scranton is, he is a channeler. He is a Reiki master. He is a sound healer. He lives in Ojai, California with his beautiful wife, Lana, who assists him in doing his Blog Talk Radio show. I've got to meet her. She's a real wonderful lady. He is also working with the groups of beings known as the Creator since fall of 2010. He also channels Ophelia and the Hathors. He also teaches channeling, holds regular teleclasses. Monday night, come and join him. Tuesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We're not having this show start up yet. It's still in the pre-production stage, but it will be out here in the next couple weeks. Carlos Ruiz is hosting the Galactic Families. And as much as I could say about this show, the name of it says it all. It's helping connect people to their families, to other galaxies and other solar systems. It's about contact and connecting heart to heart with our galactic families. He is also a person who has a great Facebook page called the Yael Civilization. Him and the friends who made this website, Galactic Families, all produced that. They all created that group for people to go in. Great information that comes out of there. Wednesday night, you need no introduction for that. That's me, myself, and I, Rob Gauthier, the creator of the Enlightenment Evolution Network, is going to host this show every Wednesday, the Enlightenment Evolution Hour. It's a trip through Wednesdays where every first Wednesday of the month, I'm going to be channeling Treb and take callers. And the third Wednesday of the month, I'll be taking a special guest, such as my special guest tonight, Brad Johnson. And on the other 2 weeks, we're just going to do freestyle calls. We're going to share information and co-create like we have many other times with great excitement and great success. And what we're going to do for Thursday nights, we'll have Philip Malika, and he'll be hosting Philip Malika's Consciousness Evolution Hour. And we're going to welcome Philip, or Philip's going to welcome you to his show, and you will be discussing in-depth topics with wide range of metaphysical topics from perspectives of fifth dimension. Topics will include the shift, fifth dimensional living, relationships, channeling, channelers, non-physical and off-world energies, and the new world paradigm. You're going to be excited, and he's going to help you tune into your own abilities, and that will help you find full fulfillment, peace, and love from inside. A lot of heart-based topics there. He'll have special guests, hosts, speakers, and channelers who will assist us in exploring these topics. He's also the admin and the one who created the Consciousness Evolution 2.0 Facebook group, and he also has a beautiful YouTube page where he breaks down a lot of the set material plus other stuff. Really great. For the newest member of the Enlightenment Evolution Network, Friday night, we will be having the Earth Experience with Kalina Angel. Kalina Angel will be hosting her upcoming show called The Earth Experience on Friday nights. Dates and details are in the works as we speak, and the Earth Experience explores our soul's expansion through our human experiences on Earth. The first topic explored will be what we can do when the shift hits the fan, and that's navigating and expanding through the exciting confusions that we are manifesting now as we enter the 5D. So it's a beautiful, beautiful lineup. Friday is the last night, Saturday and Sunday. We will be doing that pretty soon. We'll be announcing that. Now, there is going to be a website that will be up in the next couple of weeks for the Enlightenment Evolution Network. You can go there. You can check it out, and we'll get that date set up. You could also go to Treb Channeling, where I'll be releasing any new information about it. You can also go to the Facebook pages I talked about earlier, or you can contact me. Also, I wanted to announce a couple upcoming events for my own self. I know Daniel Scranton has a few things. If you go to danielscranton.com, he has all of his upcoming stuff up there on his events. Oh, before we get into that, for one more thing for the network is based off each individual person doing their own show. Each person has set up a donation link inside of their own pages for their own shows. If you support their show, if you watch their show, and that's how you feel that you can help assist them by donating, please do. Support all the shows that you enjoy. Also, this show has a donation, and this show doesn't just take donations for the shows, but it takes it for the network. Because I'm the one who starts the network, I'm also doing all the paying for it too. So if you want to donate to the network in whole or to this show, the Enlightenment Evolution Hour, please donate at trebchanneling.com. You can go to the donate key. Or if you have PayPal, you can also donate to trebchanneling@gmail.com. And I will be very, very happy and open to accepting any donations that come from you guys, because that's why this network's here. We are trying to help co-create the evolution of everyone's consciousness, the raising of vibration, and the expansion of all. We are trying to help, literally, the enlightenment evolution of each one's soul. So please, if you feel like donations are something you can do to help co-create that, by all means do that. Now, the announcements that I have coming up for this upcoming next couple months, the Portal to Ascension is going to be releasing a new event, and it's going to be an upcoming online event conference in July. It will be a 3-day event, 23 hours with over 20 speakers from around the world. The topics that are going to be covered is disclosure of everything. All of the truths from sacred geometry, true history, ET awareness, conspiracies, unconditional love, consciousness, free energy, teleportation, secret Mars programs, self-empowerment, ET channeling, oneness, vibration and frequency, sound healing, quantum physics, resource-based economies, zeitgeist, and ascension. This is going to be the mother of all events. In that event, we will have 3 people that you all know very, very well. The very first is going to be the one who we have as a special guest tonight, and that is the one and only Brad Johnson. We love him. We love his channeling work. The second person that's going to be there is Daryl Anka, and Daryl Anka is the one who channels Bashar. All of you guys know him. And the third one is going to be me, myself, and I channeling Treb. Those will be the 3 aspects of connecting and ET channeling in that event. So be ready for that. For updates, you can always go to trebchanneling.com, and you can go to portaltoascension.com, and all the information is there. Also, and this is the last announcement before we get to our guest, the event that is coming up in August, it is called the Channel Panel. And this is going to be something that I'm putting together along with some other channelers. This will be at least 4 people who will be channeling for that day. Myself, as I channel Treb and or Aradith. We will have our special guest, Brad Johnson, as he channels Adronis or any other entity that comes through. We'll also be connecting to Sean Swanson, who will channel Ishwa. And we will also be having Daniel Scranton, who will be channeling one of the 3 groups that he does, or maybe something new. We're not quite sure yet, but that's all going to be in details. Please keep your eye on trebchanneling.com for that, and we are definitely going to have more information and more details as we go through. So I appreciate that, everyone. For all of the people who have been listening and supporting the Enlightenment Evolution Network, I thank you very much. Now, with all that stuff put aside, with all that behind us, I want to introduce our very, very, very special guest, and that would be Brad Johnson. How are you doing, Brad?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you for coming. I know that you've got some things coming up pretty soon, too, and some of these are pretty exciting announcements. If you'd like to share those, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, for sure. I basically just finished doing a really wonderful event in Canada here in Victoria, British Columbia, the capital of BC. And it was just a phenomenal event, and that is actually available on my YouTube channel right now, which is youtube.com/selfempowermenttv. And you can go ahead and check that out. Had over 100 people in attendance. It was one of probably the largest in-person channeling I've ever done, and it was just incredible. I mean, the energies there was phenomenal, and I just wish I could share that with share the magic with everybody. So again, the best way I can do that is putting this up on the recording, so you can go ahead and check that out on Self Empowerment TV there on YouTube. There's just a lot of things coming down the pipe. I'm actually just moving into a new place right now. So that's going to be kind of like my little miniature studio, and setting things up as well. And there's a reason I'm going to be creating it as a studio. Right now I'm currently in negotiations with another particular organization, and I'm going to be creating some content to be syndicated through them, and that this syndication is looking to go through PBS television. And so I'm actually looking to get my work onto PBS, and that will require a lot of people's help. So basically, as PBS is public broadcasting, it's basically just getting everybody who's very familiar with my work to kind of vote and pledge and and saying, okay, well, this is Brad's work, and going through this particular organization as a joint venture partner, so to speak, and getting this material on PBS television. And depending on how well we do, we'll give the ability for it to be syndicated as far and wide as possible. Also, besides that, I'm also starting a new radio show that's going to be happening in April as well, too. The funny thing is it's going to be on Wednesdays, just as your show is right now. So what I would suggest for people who have the ability of dual hearing, being able to have your broadcast and my broadcast on at the same time. So this is going to be done on BBS radio station. It's called bbsradio.com. Other people, some really wonderful people are on there as well, too. Dolores Cannon is on there. James Gilliland is on there as well, too. So it's really exciting to be alongside those people and being able to do a radio show around that, on the same network with those guys. Those are two people I just have a tremendous amount of respect for. So being on a radio show, a radio station, a radio network like that is a tremendous honor. So I'm going to be giving more details about this new exciting show. It's going to be called The Expansion Point, and it's going to be just doing things that nobody has ever done before. I guess that's the best way I could do it. I could suggest it. There'll be live radio interactions. We'll just be covering topics that nobody's ever covered before, and really going into the depths of the matrix and discovering more about the capabilities in a very simplistic fashion about how we're all able to unleash these abilities within ourselves, how we're able to really achieve, profound states of empowerment. That's not so much of the status quo of what you hear from your typical, self-empowerment coaching. It's really being able to go a lot more deeper and really being able to push the envelope and in a loving way, of course, and just really being able to make this as simple as possible and no longer making it so much of an enigma or a generic quality. It's really being personal with yourselves and being able to bring a lot of this information out. So that's my goal, and I want to try and make this radio show as unique as possible. And, of course, getting the material that I'm going to be creating in my new place coming April here onto PBS television. That's a big goal of mine. And, just looking back, retrospect, in the past 5.5 years to see, here I am right now, with the opportunity to get on PBS television and to, start this amazing new radio show with some amazing people who I respect so much, and, just being able to share the space with you tonight as well, too, Rob. It's beautiful beyond words. I can't even express the support, the amazing people I've met throughout these past 5.5 years. There were times, I just didn't know why I was doing this, and I didn't know if it was still, something that was, that was my life, because I felt like as much as there was some exciting times, there's been a lot of speed bumps. But, looking back in retrospect, I don't regret a thing. And it's really just being able to look at all those speed bumps and realize why they've been attracted. And right now it feels like March has been a bit of a cloudy month, and now it's really starting to come into blue skies now. So there's a lot of exciting things happening down the road. And, I'm also looking forward to the big July event with Neil Gore and Portal to Ascension. I've known Neil for quite a few years now, and for him to put on a big event like this is quite exciting. And you were the very first person that I recommended to him. I said, get Rob on. That's it. You got to get him. He deserves this. And so, because he was asking me, well, Brad, who should I get? And I said, well, Rob, of course, you get him. That's the guy. And it's really going to be great doing an event alongside you, and Daryl Anka as well too, a guy who's really helped me in the beginning as well too. I remember just starting out in channeling, and I actually emailed Daryl a few times, and I guess maybe that's why some people are saying, oh my God, Adronis is so much like Bashar, what's going on? And Daryl really helped me out in a lot of emails, really just kind of giving me the idea about how he channeled. There's even a little interview that I called in onto a show that he was on, and he was giving me information right there online. That little bit of information was so profound, and it helped me a lot. So, I could say that I'm kind of like an unofficial student of Daryl Anka's, but it was a great help. I had many other little coaches and little teachers, so to speak, back and forth, and they range from quite a few different people. But really, for me to talk to Daryl like that and get perspective from him and get that kind of information inspired me even more, because I have a tremendous amount of respect for what he's done with Bashar, and doing this since 1984, I think it was. And another channel I highly respect as well too is Carla Ruckert, who channels the Law of One, the raw material.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege of interviewing her on my old self-empowerment TV radio, which is actually that was once here on Blog Talk Radio as well too. And she is just the sweetest woman. I'm just so in awe of her channeling ability. And in my personal opinion, she is probably one of the best channels in the world. And I really just got hit with such a profound thing that she said as well too. She said, "Well, Brad, the channel is very easy, but the channel well is hard." And that has been a driving force for me to really connect with my channeling and go as deep as possible. Because unlike you, Rob, because I know you go into a deeper trance state of channeling, I'm very conscious. I don't go into those deep states of consciousness. In that sense, it's mostly that I go into a heightened state of connectivity. It's very similar to how Abraham Hicks channels, or Esther Hicks channels Abraham, or Daryl channels Bashar. It's around that level. And even, Carla Ruckert, in that sense, she even goes pretty deep herself. But just to be able to do all this and to share this information over the past 5.5 years has been a thrill for me, regardless of the up and down times. I'm just currently going through a divorce right now, getting all that taken care of, and it's been kind of like 5 years in the making. So that's now just starting to happen. I've set it aside. It wasn't important for me at the time, and now I feel the energies are coming in to get that done, taken care of. But it's just been such a journey and such a ride, and it's just such a dichotomy that everything that you love to do with so much passion has had so much resistance from everybody else that was once a part of your life. And that was it was an enigma I couldn't figure out. I said, I'm spreading love here. I'm creating a whole new opportunity for me to better myself, and people can't stand this from my old life. I don't get that. I don't understand that, and that was always, a really strong enigma for me to try and get around. And, as I understood it over the years, it's just a part of different vibration. It's just amazing about how much we have been fed to really want to hate each other. That's really, the whole idea of society has been about the idea of just saying, it's got to be the testing. It's conditional love. You have to have conditioning. And just being able to break through the grounds, it's like we've made the opposite flow, regarding to following a new light and becoming more unconditional. And that's the least popular thing on the planet right now. And, it's starting to become more popular. But if you really look at the decades past, we were in a lot of fighting. We were in a lot of rough spots. And I'm just amazed right now, in these past 5.5 years, how much the light has now started to shine a lot more, how much brighter so many of us are right now, because now we understand that we require each other. We need each other. This is what it's all about. It's all about us understanding ourselves. And one of the best ways to understand ourselves is to look into other people. And for me, it's just been an incredible 5.5-year ride.
Well, I know that since you started connecting to me, that just that connection to me has helped just in the same way that Daryl did with you. Getting to know you, being able to do events with you, things like that has been real great. And I remember actually the first event I signed on with you was Carla Ruckert's wife. He came on, or husband, I'm sorry, and he came on and talked about a lot of really in-depth stuff, took questions from the raw material, the Law of One material, and that was really great. Now, the question for you is, back on your BBS radio, whenever that comes through, how do people access that? How are people going to be able to listen? Is that an online radio? If so, what's the address for it?
Yeah, it definitely is online radio. The link of it will be on consciousmatrix.com, my website, but for people to actually access it, they just go to bbsradio.com. And again, this will be happening probably around early to mid-April. Around that time, I'll definitely be posting updates on it, most often on my Facebook, so if people already have my Facebook, they'll be kept in the know about that. But, bbsradio.com is the website for that, and there'll be information on my website as well, too, relating to that show.
Okay, brilliant. I know that this event coming up is pretty great, pretty exciting, the one in July, and it seems to kind of go in that line of resonance with you too. Gaining more of yourself, going through all of this. This was a rough month for everybody. Last couple months was rough for a lot of people. I know actually since November has been difficult for me, and actually last month was one of the first months where I started coming out of that cloud, even though there's been a great inspiration in my life, a great person of love that's helped assist me to get through that the whole time, the whole 6, 8, 9 months. It's been rough up till then. And when you see this blue skies, this blue clouds, does it really help you realize that the manifestation of all the things that were kind of rough were there for a reason, for a lesson that was learned?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, with a lot of these dark clouds that have been showing, I think a lot of these clouds were just part of me parting from my ex-partner right now, and, she had to go back home. And, I'm just by myself in our house that we had. And it's been a very sad time for me because, I had so many great feelings about, just potentially about the future. And it just turned out to be a different way. And, I really had to look into myself and realize what was I attracting, what was I bringing about. It's nothing in regards to the partner herself. It was just an idea of what I felt my goals were at that point, and really being to give a lot of energy into a partnership. And perhaps that energy was not distributed well, and I was not able to really look in myself so much as well too. And it was just a few other things as well too, just being able to understand, where do I go next? What do I do next? What's the next, big challenge? And as I asked that question, all of these things were now starting to come together about the idea of the opportunity for PBS and the opportunity for being on BBS radio and all of that. So all of this professionals events were coming into my life, and that has been the focus, and that needs to be the focus right now for me to get things together. A lot of what I do is, doing something very cutting edge and doing something that nobody has talked about before. And I mean that in the most unique way possible, based upon a lot of information that's out there. There's so much information in regards to metaphysics, in regards to consciousness, and in regards to simplicity about how to apply that nobody is covering. And my intention is basically to bring that to the light as much as I can to everybody who wants to receive that. So that's really been a lot of my passion right now, and it's basically just kind of helped me to put back on course. Just me being the single guy now, kind of trying to get everything right back on course and focusing on professional stuff. And if there is another opportunity down the road, for a time for partnership and to come together, because I really like that. I think that's part of my life that has yet to be fulfilled, so to speak, is looking for that partner that's really right beside me. And that's been a dream of mine. It's like, okay, I would love to do everything that I do and have a partner who's with me, and she would be able to do whatever she would want to do as well too. And we work right alongside each other. It's like a dream team. It's like a tag team. It's great.
Sure.
That's been a great dream of mine. But I think right now it's just me, staying within the alignment of being centered and doing what I can to put these markers in place and being able to put a lot of this material out. I mean, with me channeling Jonas and doing this new concept of conscious matrix communication and creating body regeneration healing and introducing sacred circuitry and, doing all of these new methods that I'm just trying to bring out, which I'm not trying to make into a system. I'm trying to make it more into an anti-systematic system, which is challenging. Just being able to put all this out has been quite a challenge. But actually, two other announcements I was forgetting to mention as well too is that I'm going to be doing online training courses. So this is maybe something that may be interesting for some people, as each month I'm going to be bringing out the Intuitive Adept Training Class. And this is basically teaching people how to become intuitives, how to become psychics, how to become channels, how to become mediums, and just really learning more about the nature of your own self-empowerment. And, 4 weeks of really in-depth information. There's also the other new course that's coming out right now, too, Body Regeneration Healing Training Class as well, too. And both of these particular classes are certification. And so you're able to get certified in regards to Intuitive Adept just being an intuitive adept, just being very, very mindful of your own abilities. And it's really just kind of helping yourself with the basics as well as some fundamental advances and helping you to become much more of a clear, receptive vessel for higher consciousness. And body regeneration healing is teaching you much more of the fundamentals that aren't covered in any other program. So these are just two really incredible classes. Again, there's new classes starting in April with these two. I'm just finishing up one intuitive adept training class right now for this month. But the body regeneration healing and the intuitive adept training class is going to be starting in April again. So that's something that people want to check out. They just go to consciousmatrix.com and they can go ahead and look at the training section there, and they'll be able to get more information on there. And I'm also going to be doing some personal teaching here in person here in Vancouver, BC, Canada, for particular groups as well too that are looking to develop their own intuition as well. So the teaching side is now becoming a lot more stronger right now than it ever has been, because in the past it's mostly just been about my own development and getting these things kind of ironed out, and now I feel I'm ready to take it to the next level and really starting to pass this knowledge on, this wisdom on to other people so that they can become trained and that they can now start to spread the light as well too.
Well, that's all beautiful concepts too, because so many people out there who try to teach channeling, who try to teach any type of intuitive teachings, they have a complicated, very difficult system, and to break it down to the very basic levels is the most profound way, I think, to do that. And I know that course that we have done together on teaching channeling, you had actually brought forth a lot of techniques that were very useful in my own mind, that were very helpful to myself to try to explain to other people how they can get in touch with themselves. So I've seen a lot of systems that you've brought forward so far, and they've been beautiful. They've been flawless. One thing I want to talk about, too, dealing with your own personal journey. Since I've known you for the last couple of years till now, I've noticed a huge difference in your energy about your willingness to share your personal experiences with people. Before, you did here and there, but so much in the last, I would say probably year, I have seen that increase so much. And in my belief system, the way I've always done it, I've always tried to share as much of my own personal self as I could for others, because I believed it to be healing. I believed if they can see someone going through the same things they can, it can be very useful and helpful to them. What do you think is that one thing that brought forward that larger willingness to share your experiences with people, opposed to just helping them learn about themselves?
I think the honest truth was that it was all about time. It was basically giving myself time to realize that I cannot point myself as a person who is untouchable in this reality, because I'm not. I've really gone through a lot of turmoil and a lot of again, dark, cloudy days as well. And, I had some friends as well, too, that were telling me, and saying, everybody, I'd love to see more of the personal you. I want to see more about, what you're doing to open yourself up and, what challenges you're going through, because I feel that if you're able to talk more about your challenges, that a lot of people can really relate to that. Because some people just, get on YouTube and they just, everything is business, everything is work, everything is just popping on YouTube and, doing channeling, and that's it, or, talking about self-empowerment or talking about healing, and they don't really give themselves examples to what they've been going through as well. And I feel that's a really great importance as well, too. So I opened up a lot more to that through time, through, again, a lot of friends that were telling me about that, too, and just saying, what about this, Brad? What do you deal with when this happens? And I just felt it was time for me to be honest, and I've, again, just gone through a lot of personal just transformations, and I guess that's the best way I can put it, is just personal transformations that's taken place. Again, just going through a divorce right now, and haven't even seen my kids in quite a while as well too. It's really been devastating in that way. I haven't been able to see my family as much as I would like to, and it's been very, very rare actually for me to do that. And sorry, my phone keeps going off. Gotta remember.
Oh, all right. Well, that's the whole divorce thing that you've gone through. I've been through it for only about 9 months now, and I could never imagine 5 years. I do not envy on that at all. And I know that the kind of way that you have to deal with that. You have to look inside. So I'm sure that in itself has brought you tons of insight.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's really gotten to the point now where I feel a lot more at peace with myself, because I'd be up at night, in the middle of the nights, crying my eyes out and saying, what have I done? What am I doing here? I can barely see my children. I'm going through the separation. What am I doing? This is supposed to be a space of peace. This is supposed to bring me so much joy, for me to be a channel, for me to perform healing, and for me to look into self-empowerment. What am I doing? What's going on here? And Spirit was really communicating with me very, very well. It was telling me all about these hardships, these challenges that I was going through, and being able to attract a lot of people that were going through something very similar. I've met other people as well too who haven't been able to see their children in quite some time as well too, because there's so much animosity to their own spiritual journey relating to their ex-partner that there's just it's haywire. You cannot. I don't want you seeing the kids if you're like this. And it's not that you've turned into a monster. The whole idea is that you've turned in more to an angel, and the whole idea is that this angel is now a monster. And, that's the kind of reverse effect as well, too. And, I've met so many people that just have, befriended or partnered themselves together with these absolute monstrous people. And, again, that's just all a journey within itself, is because you just have to look at yourself in the mirror. And really, for myself, I had to look at myself in the mirror for many years of neglect, of not being able to see exactly what I was creating, and didn't realize that I was, creating this whole reality. That was my forefront of understanding. I just thought everything was autopilot, and like I said, if you were to ask me over 6 years ago if I would do something like this, I couldn't fathom doing something like this. So this was not on my agenda. This was not on my, to-do list, so to speak. And so it was just a huge challenge for me to, if you were looking at me at that time, to believe that I would be doing something like this. And now you ask me today, and I would say I couldn't imagine not doing this for one single day. So, that's really represented my whole transformation. I love what I do. I'm absolutely in love with what I do. And if there's conflict in regards to what I'm loving to doing, it's just part of me that still needs to look in that mirror a little bit harder, that needs to look into, an area of the mirror where there's been a bit of fog, and being able to work with that fog and working with it and letting it dissipate so I can see that extra part of the reflection. And that's really what it represents to me. So, everybody that's tuning in, we've all had hardships. We've all had challenges. We've all had, heartbreaks, in regards to family, in regards to friends, in regards to work, our career, our finances, et cetera, whatever it may be. We've all had these hardships, and that they're really helping us to look at what we have been creating and really not feeling that we deserve all the best that we have the capability and potential to bring into reality. You're not alone. I do this work because this is who I am. This is what I love. This is what I am about. I am Brad. I am Adronis. I am Rayar. I'm all of that energy, and that's just me bringing in another perspective of myself that may be out of this world, so to speak, but that's just what I do, and that's what I love. And the funny thing is I actually had a business a few years ago called Out of This World PC Solutions. So it was kind of funny just how this is all kind of a prelude to, oh, you want out of this world? I'll show you out of this world, And that was that was it. So, again, everybody who's tuning in, you guys are very loved. You guys are very appreciated. And, I know Rob has a wonderful amount of people that share and support his work. And this stuff is so important. This is it. It's not about your Britney Spears. It's not about your Katy Perrys. It's not about all this, hoopla, that represents celebrities and politics and all that stuff. Those are the greatest distractions created by man. And the more that you can really surpass that, and seeing as much support and love that you pour into stuff like that, or even anguish in that sense, that you come into that, transform all of that into the love and the support of what we really are, and that's becoming a unified consciousness. So, people like Rob and I are just very few out of so many others that are attempting to put a lot of courage in and feel that they want to be in the public eye and they want to share this, because this is what a lot of us are here to do. We're here to bring a lot of this light in And right now there's been a lot of darkness that we've been facing for many, many generations. And now this has the opportunity for it to really be cleared, for it to really go into a state of forgiveness and unification. We're accelerating by leaps and bounds right now, and I'm just absolutely amazed that so many people who I've seen, who I've talked to, are so much in alignment to what we're doing here. And it's no longer a crazy thing for people to be channels or for people to be psychics and people to be healers. It's a cool thing, actually. I see a lot more people. But I've talked to people and, just going out to look at places. They say, oh, what do you do for a living? So, oh, I do psychic work. I do, oh, my God, really? Holy crap, that's amazing, and that's it. It's this huge euphoria about, the psychic ability and intuition and healing. We're the superheroes, guys. That's it. We don't have to throw on capes and stuff like that, but that's how appealing, the psychic world now is getting. If you're into Wicca, you're into witchcraft, you're into ET contact, you're into psychic ability, you're into meditation. You're cool, man. That's it. And this is exactly what it is. And it's not even just about following a trend. It's that your own naturalness truly is the quote-unquote coolness that really is becoming much more popular. I mean, actually, a lot of people that I've been getting as clients right now have just really started to open up to this, very new to it. And I just think psychic ability is like the coolest thing on the planet. It's what we naturally are, and I want to explore it more. Great, I'll do everything I can to help you so that you can get along with it, so that you can move to that next level. So, we really are the Superman and the polite Batman, so to speak, in regards to this, idea of spiritual movements, of a whole new, I don't even care about movements, but just, spiritual transformation and channeling, healing, everything that we do that represents the expansion of consciousness. So many of us are on track, and we're doing exactly what we're meant to do.
Well, absolutely, and that's I see the same thing as you do. More people integrating, more people accepting, more people exploring their own selves, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Right now, we are a few of many who do channeling, but everyone has that capability. Everyone has that ability to do anything that they want to when it comes to connecting consciousness to themselves or connecting them to themselves. And it's funny, too. Someone asked Treb, well, what is your reason to connect to people from here? What is your reason to connect to humans? And he said, I want to connect to help you connect to yourselves. And they said, oh, you're trying to work yourself out of a job, huh? And he goes, that's my greatest excitement, is when you no longer need me. And that's exciting because that time's here. People are learning. People are coming in touch. I've started to try to help people learn how to channel, and I've only taken on 2 clients. Both of them channeled in the first day. It's not to the same degree that we do, but it was to a degree where they're getting cues and information from their higher selves. And by the time they're done, they'll have that capability. And it's beautiful because everyone has that option, that chance. They just got to, the first part of connecting to anything is to connect to yourself, because that's where it is from. And that's the misnomer that people have when it comes to understanding all these things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I actually remember back in 2009, I actually held my very first channeling class. I was ambitious. And I had 3 people come to this little hall that I rented out. And all 3 of them were just very, very curious about channeling. They were very passionate. At the end of the night, all 3 of them were channeling. And that's how it worked as well, too. It's representative of the energies of what people feel is their own particular, I guess you could say, alignment to what they feel channeling is, because channeling can be so many things. It really is just the ability to connect to yourself, to connect to extensions, to connect to facets of who you are, and being able to express that. It's not that you have to get up on stage and you have to do what Rob and I do, and being able to go into different states of consciousness and channel extraterrestrial consciousness. It doesn't have to be about that. It's really being able for you to connect to yourself, and however that decides to reciprocate itself, that's the channeling state. That could be your own higher self. That could just be your inspiration of your oversoul collective consciousness, and coming through in that way. When a person gets up on stage and just starts immersing themselves in a song that they themselves have created, and the whole room is just on up on their feet, and they're applauding this woman's incredible voice or this man's incredible voice, that's it. That's a channeling state. So the whole fundamental principle here is that channeling is so much accomplished in society. A lot of our big stars, a lot of the best actor awards in that sense, go to channelers. That's it. That's what an actor is. An actor who becomes the part, who plays a new character, who plays an extension of their consciousness, is channeling, and that's it. And so, channeling is so already well respected and well utilized, but nobody calls it that when you're looking at acting, And it's a funny thing, because to me, there's no such thing as acting. To me, it's just basically moving into different states of what you naturally are, because acting is often associated with fantasy. And everything, every single thing, every point of imagination, every pin drop of inspiration that comes through you is a channeling state that has come from some particular reality that we're accessing right here, right now, through ourselves. There is no such thing as fantasy. There is no such thing as acting. Everything has come from somewhere, and that's basically what we're pulling in. You look at Star Wars, you look at Star Trek, two of the most inspirational franchises on the planet. That's our past and that's our future. That's really what it represents, and that's just, again, us aligning to what we would consider to be our future, looking into a Star Trek future or looking into a Star Wars past. That's just us being able to align ourselves with continuity and realizing, well, I really like the Star Trek future. I think we need to make that happen. We do have the ability to make spacecraft like the starships. We do have particular technology that are like replicators. They're known as materializers, and they have been reverse engineered from many different extraterrestrial spacecraft for quite some time. There's all kinds of, so hopefully we're not going to get shut down by, those that cannot be talked about, but, just all kinds of free energy that we're talking about. I mean, Jonas has talked about this very, very much, and it's funny too, because like what Treb is saying as well, he wants to do this to eventually put himself out of a job. Jonas has said the exact same thing. Bashar has even said the exact same thing as well too. We're trying to put ourselves out of a job. When you guys are able to really understand the awareness of yourselves, you don't need us anymore, because we'll just be best friends. We'll just be hanging out, and we're family again, and that's the key, And so there's all types of amazing energies and people to bond with and beings to bond with, and looking at the potentialities that we hold. All we're doing is we're aligning to this current moment and finding out what we want to achieve in this moment. And anything is possible, everybody. Every single thing you can fathom is available to us right now. We just have to come together in order for this to make this a collective consciousness. But in the meantime, you're creating your own reality versions on an individual level in regards to what that represents.
Well, absolutely, and I think you hit it right on the head there. We've got quite a few people online ready to talk to Jonas, so if there's anything you want to say before then, and one thing I'd like to say too, while announcing the upcoming shows for the network earlier, I got a little bit of...
Before you do that, Rob, let me just run to the bathroom real quick and give a 2-minute break, and then I'll come right back, and then we'll get to Jonas going.
All right, absolutely. And for those of you who are listening, I got a little bit of feedback on the announcements today. When I was talking about Kalina's show that will be on Friday, The Earth Experience with Kalina Angel, I explained that she is going to, the first topic that's going to be explored is what we can do when the shift hits the fan. And that is SHIFT, for those of you who might have misheard me. And obviously what that means is the part of our energy that we're going through, going into the 5D energy, going into that fifth dimensional or fifth density or fourth density energy that we're going through. So that was something that was covered. Now, while Brad's away, I'm going to remind you guys that we've started the Enlightenment Evolution Network and that we have shows coming up on every night through the week. We have a couple ideas for Saturday and Sunday, and we're going to run through those. We're also waiting back for a couple other people to contact us that we've extended offers to for the show. And these things are going to be very exciting. We've got a whole plethora, a whole variety, a whole spectrum of shows that are going to be up and coming here. So any one of you guys who would like to listen to that, you can go to the Facebook page, the Enlightenment Evolution Network. You can go through there, and each one of the hosts will be posting theirs the night that they do their show so that everyone can be aware of that. And I take it that you're back too now, Brad, right?
Yes, absolutely. And one piece of advice I give for anybody who wants to do the kind of work that Rob and I are doing, please make sure that before you start a show, you might want to be very mindful in having a full glass of water before you, because nature calls pretty quickly. So just be mindful of doing something like that. So, yeah.
Absolutely, that can be. It was funny when I had George here with me. I'd always Skype him and say, "Hey, got to use the restroom. You got to talk for another 3 minutes." So I'd always put him on the spot.
It's great, but, small doses, exactly. All right.
I have too much of a big mouth to take breaks. I just keep talking, and I can't. I never take hey, everyone, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So I guess I should probably do that for people who want to. But go ahead, Brad, whenever you're ready, you can bring in a dronist, and we'll start taking callers. That's the bliss of commercial breaks. So there you go.
All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll bring a Jonas through, and any particular questions that anybody has, whether you guys would like to call in or what have you, by all means go ahead. Basically, it just takes me a couple of seconds to bring a Jonas in, and again, he'll just come through. He'll give a basic introduction, and then we'll open the floor, the radio floor, for Q&A. So here we go. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am the Jonas from Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this particular broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like each and every single one of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we shall share with you today. Also understand that all that we shall provide relating to this insight is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very heart, being, and soul. So we thank you very much to the host, known as Rob. Thank you very much, and how may we assist you today?
Well, thank you, Jonas. We appreciate you joining this collective, this internet collective, on our show this evening. We have several callers, and before we get to that, for anyone who's listening, if you'd like to call in and talk to a Jonas yourself, you can call in at area code 347-308-8788, and we'll open up the lines. But before we take a caller, I would like to ask a question myself, if that's all right, Jonas.
Of course you can.
All right. When we've started this year, there's been a lot of new energies that have come through. We've talked to Brad a little bit about that today. But for those of us who have been going through difficult times and we're just starting to see that light at the other end of the tunnel, or if we're not seeing the light at the other end of the tunnel, what are some of the most simplistic things that we can do in our day-to-day life that can change the bigger outcome?
Realizing that all boxes once started as unfolded two-dimensional material. And that's really the whole idea here. You're unfolding your box until there are no more walls. And so really the most simplistic way is really how you decide the science of the simple through yourselves. It does not have to be overly complex. It's not about opening your third eye. It's not about opening your crown chakra and feeling that if I do this, well then, hallelujah, I am saved. No, the whole idea here is that you are developing a much more expressive state of realizing your own awareness. And that's the key. How aware are you? What do you allow yourself to become aware of each and every single day? As we have stated, the year 2014, from our perspective, represents a year of unfoldment. And that year of unfoldment is basically being able to take apart the box so that no more walls are present. In that way, you must understand that really, all who have placed upon these particular walls creating this box has been that of yourself. So really, in your own simple way, perhaps that's singing a song. Perhaps that's just listening to what you're saying. Perhaps that's just listening to what others are saying. Perhaps that's being very mindful of the environment that you're contained in to ask yourself if this is exactly where I need to be. Is this representational of the value that I see myself? Am I deserving in regards to everything that I'm going through right now? What is my level of deserving? What do I feel I deserve? What am I feeling in regards to my state of self-worth? What am I feeling in regards to my state of self-love? So the key is the expansion of your own awareness. The whole idea is that this really does not have to be so esoteric. It really doesn't. It doesn't have to be, quote unquote, so spiritual in that sense is what you would understand. The whole key is that as long as you understand yourself, you understand your patterns, you understand your thought processes, you understand your fundamentals about how you decide to interact within a planet in regards to 7 billion other human beings, as well as many other beautiful creatures that are upon your planet, you are deciding exactly how this can serve me best, how I feel I can allow myself to become enriched by the stabilization of realizing my potentials, by the stabilization of bringing myself into a state of acceptance, of allowance, of opportunistic transformational events that can come into place and bring my reality into a whole new spectrum that is complementary to my value, that is complementary to my love. That's all you have to do, dearest humans. That's it. That's why you're on Earth. It's just answering, receiving, propagating your love in regards to what you know you naturally deserve. As long as you know that you can do this, universe itself will follow through. The universe will not deny you of what you are passionate about. The universe will not deny you in regards to what is your certainty, in regards to how you see yourself. It is much of the programs, it is much of the walls of this particular box that have prevented you from going into these heightened levels of connectivity, these heightened levels of awareness, as long as that box remains there. Those walls are contained because you give those walls validity. Your own particular form of self-conditioning is the very state and production pertaining to the manifestation of these walls. The science of the simple is really the question you need to ask yourself on how it can be utilized to help you understand your own expansion potential of awareness. That is the understanding.
Well, thank you, Adronis. That was very beautifully put and very useful. Right now, we will take our first caller, 269, or let's repeat that. That's a 239 area code. Who do we have with us this evening? A 239 area code. Who do we have with us this evening? All right, we'll come back to that one then. All right, the second caller with a 704 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Hi, Rob. This is Kim calling from Port Richey, Florida.
Hey, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing really well.
All right. Well, do you have a question for Adronis this evening?
I do. I'd like to know if Adronis takes personal questions.
The whole idea is really, if you feel like sharing personal questions, you are more than welcome to.
All right. Thank you, Adronis. I was told by the entity Treb that I have had conscious contact with a gray being, and it made me wonder if I have any galactic children out there anywhere.
Yes, quite a lot.
Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
Well, here's the whole idea. Yes, here's the whole idea. Many of you who are on this planet in that sense have a, shall we say, very large mass amount of children that exist on other planets as well as other spacecraft. Now, the whole idea really is that your own voluntary state in regards to contributing on a soul level pertaining to these hybridization programs relates to the idea that your own genetic stock is open source. So that's the key. As your own genetic stock is open source to that degree, that genetic stock can be utilized in regards to the propagation of a multitude of lives. We're not just talking about one particular species here, but we're also talking about many. So it is not just fundamentally only about the idea of the grays, but there are also other beings that may be humanoid in appearance, that may also be, shall we say, aquatic, cetacean in that sense, of particular degrees, that can also relate into other particular hybridization programs that represent an outsourcing pertaining to some of these other hybridization programs as your genetic stock is contained as open source. So it is true fundamentally that you do have a multitude of children. In regards to that of what you would know as the beings that you would know as the Greys, pertaining to their hybridization programs, you would have approximately 5 different children from which we are aware of.
Is there any possibility that I will meet these children on a conscious level during my lifetime?
All 5 of them, all consciously, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and it's nice to hear from you again. We appreciate the call. We'll take our next caller with the 903 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Hey, this is Taylor.
Hey, Taylor. How you doing?
All right,
buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Do you have a question for Jonas this evening?
Yeah, I was actually wondering if what % of my DNA is hybridized.
All particular facets in regards to human DNA is, shall we say, refined. And this refinement in that sense does pertain to a particular form of harmonic sequence. So in that sense, much to your own DNA, yes, is indeed hybridized. You do understand that really all life that exists upon your planet is refined. Just as you would refine ore into metal, you are basically having your DNA refined in regards to the attunement of all frequencies that are compatible upon your planet. This also consists in regards to extraterrestrial nature. So many of you may believe in that sense that there are, shall we say, certain levels of your DNA that is alien in that sense. And this is true really with all of you, because the idea of the human race existing on planet Earth is a refinement of a multitude of different strands, shall we say, that have been compressed together and in that sense completely refined that represents the idea of what you would know as your human genome.
Okay. Is there more of a certain race of alien DNA in me than another?
That's really not the point. The whole idea here is that the refinement itself does not, shall we say, overcapacitate itself past a scale. It really continues in that sense to bridge itself, reservoir itself, so to speak, in regards to the fascination, the energies of all of these profound beings that are, shall we say, collectively intent through you. You do have energies from the star of Sirius. You do have the energies from the cluster of the Pleiades. You do have the energies of that of which you would know as Arcturus, of that of Lyra, of Vega, etc. All of these particular strands have been specifically condensed and refined as your own genetic material. So everything that represents your own DNA is alien. That's the whole idea. It is not indigenous to the planet other than the idea that it has been fine-tuned to coordinate together with the planet as everything has been brought upon your world from somewhere else. So therefore, your own indigenous, in that sense, truly comes from extra-celestial consciousness.
All right. Thank you, Jonas. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much, Taylor.
Yeah, thank you, Taylor, for the call. We appreciate everyone who's calling in this evening. We have a 330 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
This is Bobby.
Hey, Bobby, how are you doing this evening, bud?
Good. How are you, Rob?
Not too bad at all.
Cool.
Yeah, do you have a question for Jonas this evening?
Yeah, I do.
Hello, Bobby.
I'm not really, my question is kind of having to do with, not really for what we do next from that standpoint of you telling me what to do, but just recently I've been really bored and I really don't know what to do next, because after like doing all this spiritual and conscious and stuff and changing, like kind of getting over like depression, anxiety, and drug use, and like it seems like all the things I used to do that entertain me, like drugs, that are no longer fun, and like all my old friends are no longer friends with me. So I'm just like in a state right now where I'm accepting it, but I'm just like bored as shit, and I really don't know what to do next. So I'm just wondering if you have any insights for me in regards to like, I don't know, like kind of like the energy of that, if you can like kind of perceive
well,
it.
First of all, we say congratulations to you, because now you are acquiring a state of new consciousness. You are now moving into a whole new threshold, a new plateau. So it's basically being able to create an opportunity for you to go into a state that was once neglected for now to become the totality of your life. So whatever you feel was the massive representation of you interacting with those type of people, interacting with that type of life, because that is now passé, it's now giving yourself an opportunity for everything that has been not taken into consideration to now be the opening format of a ground of opportunity to now become the totality of your existence. So whatever that may be. Perhaps that's, in that sense, taking a trip. For we feel, in that sense, exploration is the greatest teacher. That may also, in that sense, be interacting with other people that are, shall we say, passé also to the old type of people that you felt were once part of your reality. Because now what's happening is that you are fully receptive to triggers. And now it simply is wandering around your planet to decide exactly what trigger is going to be set off next. What we can say is that you are on the precursor to a breakthrough.
Interesting. I've been kind of feeling that. I keep seeing the number like 555 and 1111
yes.
and stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
So are you like almost encouraging me to kind of like travel? Like I kind of feel stuck where I'm at right now.
Well,
like,
we would say that we are telling you for you to tell you to travel. So it's basically your own higher self that's saying, oh, could you tell Bobby to go ahead and start traveling? Oh, yes, we can. So, Bobby, you yourself are telling us to tell you to travel. So just make sure you get the memo.
Interesting. I'll have to ask a lot of questions around that. Are there any particular places that come in mind? Or would that be disempowering for you to tell me that?
We do feel that there is a particular energy that is quite attractive that represents your continent of Asia.
Really? Like,
yeah?
Like Russia?
No,
or
Asia.
Like,
not.
like China, Asia?
Well, that's one particular area, although what we sense, again, is that something very fascinating exists there. It may not be right away, but we feel that there is, shall we say, some form of appeal in regards to your energy that is pointing you as a compass towards Asia.
Oh, like Tibet?
Tibet is one possibility. We are also sensing the energy of Japan.
Oh, Japan would be cool.
Yes, because you have a particular interest in regards to, shall we say, a fascination with the energy that you once knew as the samurai.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I want to go there right now with all the radiation leaking, though.
Nonetheless, the opportunity is there. And also, the radiation really is not as bad as many of your scientists may admit.
Oh, okay, cool. Wow, interesting.
We thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, bud, and we'll talk to you soon. It's fascinating, too, Adronis, when you said that. As soon as you said Asia, the country Japan came into my mind, too. That's another one that I'm very highly attracted to energetically, that I have a fascination with energetically. So thank you for pointing. Well, pardon me?
Synchronicity in motion.
Absolutely. Just like a train running through. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Then the next caller that we have is an 816 area code. Who do we have with us this evening? 816 area code. Who do we have with us this evening? All right, we'll come back to that number 2 from the 816 area code here a little later. The next one that we have is our friend Roy from Skype. How are you doing this evening, Roy?
Hello, Rob. I'm fine. Great show.
Great. All right, beautiful. Do you have a question for Adronis this evening?
Yeah, I have a question regarding... good evening, Adronis.
Good evening to you, for wherever you are existing on your planet. Thank you.
I would like to ask you about talking about the abilities to work with, or the potential of working with vibration and the cellular structure of our bodies, and how we...
Yes.
Yeah, just basically that. Thank you.
All right. What specifically would you like to know?
So, if you're chanting or you're using vibrations from crystal balls or music or whatever, how you could like kind of mutate or like kind of manipulate your own body in a positive sense, though.
All right.
Yeah.
The whole idea is that certain cellular activity existing within your body is resonant to specific frequencies that exist. Now, these do not always constitute the idea of sound, but they more so in that idea constitute the idea of what you would consider to be quantum negotiation. The quantum negotiation primarily relates to the idea of thought structure. The thought structure through the intention in regards to the manipulation and mutation of particular cellular bonds are cohesive based upon the idea of the intensity of that thought magnetic. The whole idea really is that your own thoughts, based upon their primary function of validity, are truly what can assist in the, shall we say, mutation and bondage relating to these cellular mutations together to basically form a harmony. So in that sense, the sound itself becomes the byproduct in exchange pertaining to your mentality of enjoying the melody, of enjoying the sound. Now, it is true that there is a science behind the frequency in regards to the sound that allows certain forms of, shall we say, cellular bonds to take place, to form in that way. But primarily what's happening also is that over time, if it simply is just the music and no reaction in regards to a quantum level of negotiation, those particular cellular bonds begin to dissipate once again, and they start to divide, simply because there is no cohesion on a quantum level to allow those cellular bonds to maintain their own potency in regards to, shall we say, unification. So really, the idea is that as you play your sounds, as you play your music, allow the voice, the emotion, the state of your own excitement to fuel the degree in regards to the manipulation and stratagem pertaining to your own DNA release, your own DNA enhancement, your own cellular bonds to influence yourself to the point where this particular form of joy emerging from the music becomes harmoniously continually. And that basically represents the idea that you feel right now completely aligned, completely unified in regards to the exchange of all forms of healing, in regards to all joys and all true particular passions that are allowing your body to stay aligned in regards to the continual expression of yourself on a quantum level. These are how the cells themselves stay together, because there is now no further reverse polarity that would create any particular type of disbursement and dissipation in regards to their order. That's the understanding.
Thank you very much. So basically the involvement, the level of involvement you put into your, to whatever you're doing.
That's right. Because the whole idea is that many of you have created breakthroughs in regards to what you feel is well received by sound. But when that sound ends, you feel that you are going back to your own thoughts that may represent, shall we say, polarization. And in doing so, these cells then polarize based upon your mentality. So what we are saying is to immerse yourself primarily on a quantum negotiative level so that this becomes continual. So that your own flow and your own enjoyment about how you felt that previous night, for example, about that sound healing, enriched you, and admit to yourself how you continue to feel better, and admit to yourself about certain octaves that are now brought back into harmony. And as you admit that to yourself, these particular quantum bonds on a cellular level are now contained within a state of unity, and they are no longer dissipating in regards to the state of arrangement relating to polarity.
So allowing yourself to have an intimacy with your experiences.
That is correct. And allow the intimacy to be continual in regards to the admittance of yourself in regards to what has been brought back into natural order.
Well, thank you, Roy, too, for calling in today. We appreciate it very much, as we appreciate you calling in a lot and sharing your wisdom, questions, and heart with us. Thank you, Roy.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Oh, thank you, too. All right. The next phone call we have will be from the 845 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Hi, my name is Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl. How are you doing tonight?
Hello,
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for taking my call. I wanted to ask, it's really a joy to speak with you, particularly since you're from Sirius, and I have been connecting with Sirius lately a lot and have been feeling my star family, the invisibles around me much more, and I feel I'm at a point
we are very happy that you are just as serious as we are.
Indeed. So I'm ready to make a big transition, taking more responsibility for myself coming out of a dark period, I would say, of a lot of cleansing, and I live in New York City, and I felt very much magnetized to this place, and in fact have been guided in different channelings to stay here, but now I think it's time to go, and things are aligning up. Can you speak to that? I want to go upstate a little bit. I feel very drawn to a much quieter life and closer.
Right.
I feel there's something.
Yes, the whole idea in that sense is, shall we say, you are very true in regards to your feelings. However, what we also feel is that being able to go upstate will allow you to eventually, at some point, move from coast to coast.
And I'm sorry, too, caller, that I had muted you prematurely.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so what did you miss? Where did you leave off?
He had already answered the question for you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What we are saying is that we also feel the truth in regards to you moving upstate in that sense,
right.
but eventually this is going to move from coast to coast.
Does it involve perhaps needing, because I'm feeling very isolated, and now I feel it's time to stretch, and funds being what they are, I'm trying to utilize time and money the best I know how. Things are falling into place. I'm hoping that there'll be people involved besides just myself.
The rain of fortune grows more stronger as you continue to move into the area that is of your harmony that you know you naturally feel. So the whole idea is the more that you are comfortable within your own environment, the more that fortune follows you pertaining to that feeling.
Can you speak to the a ship I understand called the New Jerusalem, supposedly over the city of Rye, New York?
The ship known as New Jerusalem, you say? Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct.
We're not too familiar in regards to this particular trigger of what you have termed, although in that sense, in this particular area, there have been, shall we say, a multitude of sightings. None of the particular beings involved with these particular sightings within your past 24 months have been, shall we say, on our own particular bandwidth in regards to a state of identity.
Okay.
So the whole idea is that, yes, they are, shall we say, extraterrestrial, but we have no direct association in regards to understanding much of their own, shall we say, agendas, although we will feel it is that of benevolence.
And may I ask you what part of the being on both coasts would be available to me? Is that something that you could speak to?
Oh, that will be up to you.
Of course.
Because it's more so the idea of a transition that really takes the effect, not so much of the exact location. As soon as you bounce from coast to coast, that will be the easement in regards to more fortune bringing itself in your way.
Oh, lovely. Okay, well, thank you very much for that.
We thank you very much for your call.
Have a great evening.
Yes, and thank you. Have a great evening as well. We have a caller from the 315 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Oh, hi. My name is Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay, thanks.
Good. You have a question for Jonas this evening?
Yeah, I do. I've actually been carrying this question around for about 26 years, and I'm glad to finally be able to put the question to somebody and hopefully get an answer.
We are happy to hear it. Thank you.
I literally, when I was 21, I had a dream, and it was so real that it's never left me. In this dream, I was greeted by what I can only describe as an 11-year-old boy, and I don't know why he was 11, but I knew that he was 11, an 11-year-old blonde boy with alligator eyes. And he came up to me and said, "We've known since the beginning you were one of us, and we've come to take you back." And he turned and walked away, but I knew he would be back, and I yelled after him, "You can't have me. My heart's too good for you." And this enraged him. He turned around and didn't walk up to me, but moved up to me, started speaking to me in a tongue I did not understand, and that's when I awoke. And when I awoke, I could not move. I was like paralyzed in my bed. I could not speak. I could not get up. Anyway, and I said in my head to him, leave me, don't come to me. And that's not the way I normally speak. And that's when he, like I was unparalyzed, and I could sit up in bed and turned on the light, and I was terrified. I have no explanation for this, but the past couple decades, I've slowly, what I would consider to be awakened, and I've now realized that maybe this is some connection to something very distant, and I wonder if you can answer for me where that came from and who that was.
Yes. The whole idea is that this particular being was once your son when you were particularly, shall we say, of the same energy in regards to this particular civilization. This civilization in that sense has been much more in the idea of a domination factor, and that much in regards to your own expansion yourself has been the idea of you reconciling your own energies by coming to Earth to evolve yourself into what you would consider to be a greater state of expansion that is then, shall we say, apropos to the idea of what this particular being and their civilization in regards to group capacity represents. And so therefore it is an omen through yourself looking back in retrospect pertaining to what you have surpassed in regards to what that particular energy represented in regards to a form of domination. You have transcended from the idea of that particular society that represented a degree of domination into the point of moving more into a unified consciousness, and therefore your realities are no longer parallel in the way that they once were.
Really odd, because I now have a son who's 8 years old, and he is blonde, and he doesn't have alligator eyes, but we have a very tight spiritual connection. So
this simply represents a higher, yes, this simply represents a higher reflection of that particular being that has now also come into the light to share in their own unification understanding on the planet to serve once again as your son.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yes, we think so.
Yeah.
So again, basically what's happening is that many of you are going through these experiences from where you once came from, shall we say, other particular states. Again, everything is perspective in the now, but basically coming from other particular perspectives that may not have been, shall we say, completely fundamental to the point of your state of expansion where you're going right now. Many of you come to planet Earth for reconciliation, because many of you have been part of different groups that have been, shall we say, very territorial, very adversarial, and very dominant in that form of, shall we say, self-imposed nature. And that you are coming back to Earth because this is one of the profound challenges to be here on this planet at this time, to learn more about the state of unconditional love and moving more into that energy. So therefore, as you realize it, all those who represent the Watchers are now starting to realize this as well, and they said, all right, it's now time for me to come to Earth because I have seen how she has now transformed herself. I want that for myself as well. And now they become present. And now they share the space with you, moving more into that idea of advancement pertaining to unified consciousness rather than anything polarizing.
Okay. Now, can I ask another question? How do we know that we're actually going to ascend? Because I doubt a lot of things, and
it's only your perception of ascension that really is, in that sense, misinterpreted. So the whole idea here is that ascension has nothing to do with you transforming back into angelic consciousness. That's not really what it's about. Ascension, from our particular perspective, relates to the idea of advancement. The more that you are aware of yourself and you are continuing to expand yourself and realize the potentials you hold in the love of every facet, of every perspective that you see yourself in, you are constantly going through a quote-unquote ascension experience. That's the advancement. To ascend is to rise, is to expand yourself. To advance is to rise and to expand yourself. That is the ascension journey. It's not about feeling that you are being rescued off the planet. That's never been the agenda. It's not the idea of feeling that you need to go somewhere else and you want to leave everything else behind. You can't do that. That's not possible. Everything that you have acclaimed in regards to your experiences that have been remedied, you have done through your own choosing. Everything that represents challenges, hardships, particular forms of turmoils and dramas that you have manifested has been of your own choosing. Those will follow you from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime in any dimension, in any reality that is comprised of its own nature pertaining to the theme of its exploration. That cannot be escaped. So the whole idea here is that your ascension, your advancement, is being able to look into these areas of challenges to bring them into a point of remedy. As they are brought into a point of remedy, you achieve liberation. As you achieve liberation, you are no longer tied down. You are no longer tethered to those particular functions, and now you are advancing in your level as a harmonized being of consciousness. That is ascension. That is advancement. And it doesn't matter if you are, in that sense, a human being and coming back into spirit. Those particular aspects are still with you. And in spirit, some of those still need to be worked out in different forms of astral realms as you return back into essence. That's the understanding.
Well, thank you, Adronis. That was beautiful. And thank you, caller, for the wonderful question. Right now, we're going to go to Jessica on Skype. How are you doing tonight, Jessica?
Hey, Rob, can you hear me? I'm on my iPad.
Yeah, I can hear you beautifully.
Woohoo!
All right.
And it's 10:30 and I'm awake.
Oh, well, I know that you've got a question, too, for Adronis, so you could go ahead and do that whenever you're ready.
All right. Hey, Adronis, how are you?
We are wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. I do different type of questions with channeled entities, as Rob knows. Tell me something exciting that was going on in your day today.
We're talking to you right now. That's very exciting to us.
Oh, that was an easy question. Apparently,
the whole idea is that we really do not have days. We simply have a moment. And it is in this moment, in regards to what we're currently experiencing, that reminisces the idea of what we would consider to be the highest degree to what excitement can bring. And therefore, here we are.
That's really neat. Now, the other thing I like to do with other channeled entities, I offer, since you folks are always receiving questions, if you'd like to ask me a question about any type of human experience, I'd be more than happy to do that if that's of interest to you.
Have you noticed the particular destination that you feel has been calling to you for years?
Australia?
Yes.
And probably Africa.
All right.
And Syria.
I'm
sorry, I missed you.
New Zealand is also there as well, but yes.
Absolutely, that whole area. And all right, again, I do the simple questions that don't require too much. And it was good talking to you. And apparently, you are my people. From what Treb has said, that I was Syrian. So,
right. But the whole idea really is that your people are all around you right now. This is the whole idea of where you are. Now, yes, we understand that there is a portion of consciousness for you that exists in Sirius, and that portion of consciousness does represent the idea of the Syrian people. But who you are speaking to us right now, you're surrounded by your people all the time.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you.
We thank you as well.
Have a good night.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
Talk to you later, Rob.
Sorry. All right, talk to you soon, Jessica. Sorry for cutting you off there, Adronis. There's sometimes a little delay here, as I'm sure Brad knows that, so you know that. I've got another caller here.
It is the idea of have a good moment, because it's the only one that will ever exist.
Absolutely, and that's the one thing I think all of us humans work on more and more that are aware of that, living in the now. Now, we only have about 3 minutes left on the agreed-upon time with Brad until 10:30. We can run things over just a bit. Do you have time? Well, not you yourself. Does Brad have time to take one more call?
We are happy to take one last call, yes.
All right, beautiful. Then we've got the 832 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris. How you doing, bud? Do you have a question
doing well
for Adronis? Oh, good. That's great.
So I really appreciate you guys having these shows. And I think it's wonderful for Brad coming on, and I think the Evolution Hour is a definite step in the right direction. And I guess
we're excited to be here.
I come from Western medicine-based experiences, and I think looking at the new forms of, I guess, metaphysics and this type of reality is the way to go.
Well, the whole idea is that we will not discount your ability to understand Western medicine, because in that sense, it does hold a credence in regards to the potential wholeness of understanding of what is healing. So the whole idea is that Western medicine does hold a purpose in regards much more to the physicality of aspect of medicine. It's not so much in the idea of, shall we say, the prescriptions, but it is in that sense part of the physicality from what you understand as the operating vehicle that holds a place. All it's looking to perform right now is the idea of inclusion. And so the metaphysical aspect, or the Eastern form of the degree, relating to natural nutrition, relating to natural herbs in that sense, are all part and parcel of that form of cohesion to form between the West and the East. All you're doing is looking at two hemispheres of one particular brain when it comes to medicine. It's just about bringing them together.
And I guess one other question would be, because since I'm a pharmacist here in the United States and I work in a hospital, and I was just wondering, is there any insight that you could foresee as how I can be able to help the people I interact with, since I do interact with people and that are, I guess, have illnesses, and so I was just curious,
Yes.
What a better way that I can help?
Absolutely. Here's the idea, and it doesn't involve medicine. It involves showing that you care. That's it. That's how people are able to dissolve your cancers overnight. That's how they're able to, shall we say, heal many different illnesses, is when there is care brought back into healthcare. So as long as you are able to show that you care for everybody, pulling up a chair, getting to know their story, wanting to listen to their understandings of what they share with you, you are providing the grandest healing of them all.
So yeah, I've been trying to incorporate that. I've been listening to your Jonas's show, Treb's show, and going along with, I guess, also Cryon and the Bashar show as well. And I think I'm trying to incorporate this into just kind of my everyday life and going by what you said, just trying to do that. And I'm glad to hear that I'm kind of going on the right track.
Yes. Well, the whole idea is it's not even so much about what we say. It's only that we are reminding you because you told us to remind you about us telling you this, just like the previous call. So the whole idea is that we're just telling you what you need to know through us. That originally came from you.
That's
and
great.
That's the whole idea. We're just a reminder.
Okay. I guess one last thing.
We must conclude at this time as our time is short. But we thank you very much, Chris, for the questions that you have had for us this evening of your time. We also thank Rob very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis from Sirius, and we are now returning to the conduit. Goodbye for now, and we will see you all again in the moment.
Thank you, Adronis, and I know Brad will relay that message to you as he comes back through. I want to thank all of the callers this evening. You guys have had great questions, great interactions. I want to thank you too personally, Brad, as well as Adronis, which I know you'll pass that on. Before we jump off the air tonight, I'd like to give you the opportunity, any events, any Google Plus things, anything that you can think of that you either haven't mentioned or are important enough to you to re-mention. I'd like to give you that floor now to do that.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Rob, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I know there's a lot of other questions that probably are really wanting to be answered, but again, we only do have certain forms of time slots. Again, just feel free to check out the training classes that are available, because this will give you an opportunity to interact with Adronis a lot more. There are also private one-on-one sessions that are available on consciousmatrix.com for people who want to have a booking, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes. There's also group online sessions that are available as well too. Just go to consciousmatrix.com, and if you are interested in being part of the certification courses, the Intuitive Adept training classes, and the body regeneration healing training classes. That is available online through consciousmatrix.com. You just see it under training when you go to the website. And that's it. I just really appreciate everybody calling in tonight. I really appreciate, again, being a part of the show. Thank you, Rob, for having me on. And I look forward to being back very soon in the future. But just feel free to check out my website, and you can go to my Facebook as well, facebook.com/BradJohnson79, all one word, as well as my YouTube channel, youtube.com/selfempowermenttv, all one word as well.
Well, I want to thank you, too, before you go, brother. I love you very much. I'm glad to have my great friend Brad here, and everyone, I'm sure, enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks again, brother, and we'll be talking soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me on. Much love.
All right. Much love to you, too. Thanks again. All right, everybody. That was Brad Johnson. You can go to consciousmatrix.com. You can go to all the places he's led you to. And before we go tonight, I just want to say, if you've enjoyed tonight's show, if you enjoy the concept of the Enlightenment Evolution Network, you can always show your support by donating to trebchanneling.com. You can go there, click on the donate button. You can also donate through PayPal to trebchanneling@gmail.com. And just to remind you guys, we do have the Enlightenment Evolution Network up and running. Next Thursday will be the start of Philip Malaka's show, which is called the Philip Malaka's Consciousness Evolution Hour. Soon to be coming will be Carlos's show, which is on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's Galactic Families. Also, Philip Malaka's will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 6 p.m. Pacific. And also upcoming Friday evenings, The Earth Experience with Kalina Angel. That'll be a wonderful show. Right now, already in progress, we have Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard or 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. We have Daniel Scranton with Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton, as well as the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with yours truly as the host. We thank you guys all for supporting us throughout the shows, throughout all of the things that we do here. And I'm going to try to have a guest next week for just about a half hour to talk a little bit about their upcoming show on the Enlightenment Evolution Network. I don't have that pegged as a for sure yes yet, so I'm not going to announce who it is. I definitely want to bring that person on and have a little chat about their show coming up very soon. Even if it's not going to be them, we will have a freestyle open chat. We're going to be talking about a few things. And what I'd like to do is bring a couple clips from the event that I did recently with Treb and Aradiv. Now, this event was in January, and it was a paid event, and I'm going to bring a couple clips. This event was called the Master Density Class, the Expert Series, or the Advanced Series of the Density Dimension things that we've done here. It's called a Master Density Class. And I did the Master Density Class 101 here on Blog Talk Radio. You can also look it up on YouTube. Those are kind of prerequisites for the course. Detailed information about densities, dimensions, about fifth dimensional living, about being in fourth density, fifth density, sixth density, even going into the non-physical stuff. The entire 7th through 13th density, all of those steps are explained in that. A lot of detailed information was brought forward from Treb and Aradiv. Sorry about that. And in my Master Density Class 101, that was just me giving the very, very, very top layer of information in the 101 course set. And that's basically sharing all those detailed information. Check those things out if you're interested, because we're going to be breaking some of that down next week. Also, I want to tell you guys how much I love you guys, how much I appreciate all of your support and all of your listening. We are going to call it an evening tonight. This is Rob Gauthier hosting the Enlightenment Evolution Network, presenting the Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This has been a very, very wonderful night. You can join us every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, and I will bid you adieu for this evening. I love you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.